Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I'm Robin Stander, Vice President of Sales for Appcast. Going to be talking about unleashing the power of programmatic job advertising and supercharging job ad content for maximum impact, getting candidates through the funnel. That's me. My background is thus. I spent 11 years at totaljobs.com, where I was head of international sales. In 2016, I left that business and I set up ZipRecruiter's UK business, and they're now one of the largest aggregators in the UK, and they're listed on the New York Stock Exchange. That will become relevant to the conversation a little bit later on. I've been with Appcast for 3 years, primarily driving our growth in the enterprise high-volume hiring space. Appcast, who we are, what we do. It's not a sales pitch, Natasha, but this is who we are. We are the global leaders and global pioneers of something called programmatic job advertising. We're founded in 2014 in a place called Lebanon, New Hampshire, which is 2 hours north of Boston. We have about 600 employees based in the United States, Belarus, United Kingdom, and Germany. We're wholly owned by Stepstone Group. Stepstone Group is the business that owns Stepstone Germany, totaljobs.com, and the rest of the Total Jobs Group, and they operate in 23 countries. We have a 99% client retention rate. Yes, Dan, 99%, and a 70 NPS. You will not see that anywhere else. So we're doing a pretty good job. These are some of the customers, some of the 2,500 customers that we currently work with on a global basis across every single type of sector, working across every single type of job function. So we don't have any specific niche that we work in because programmatic job advertising works across all roles and all types of individuals. So I'm going to start off talking about the 2024 UK Recruitment Marketing Benchmark Report. We have access to a lot of data. So in the United States, 2,500 customers, as well as all of the job boards in the US. So there are 30,000 job boards in the United States buying traffic from us. And then the same would be true in the UK. So we have about 500 customers in the UK, as well as all the job boards and all the advertising agencies buying access to our traffic. So lots of individual data points. Firstly, to let you know that the paradigm has shifted in the UK over the last 6 months. So where previously we were talking about an over demand for candidates and an undersupply of candidates in the marketplace, that has now shifted in the last 3 months, and that will impact you guys very heavily when you go to market. There are lots and lots of candidates in the marketplace right now, some of the right quality, some not of the right quality, but there are not enough jobs in the marketplace to meet their demands. So for the first time, labour demand is outstripping supply of jobs. As demand for labour falls and supply increases, there is a downward pressure on price. That is fantastic for you guys. So over the last 12 months, there has been a 100% drop in the cost per application that you can expect to pay. It was at £21.34 this time last year when I talked. It's now at £11.51, which is fantastic for you guys if you are buying on a cost per click or a cost per application based model. Good news. There is no single recruitment market in the UK. The trends that I talk about are holistic, but are not consistent across all sectors. So the apply rates are going up in some sectors, such as warehousing and logistics, but they are going down in other sectors like engineering and software. We can provide you with all of this access free of charge. You can look at the data and you can look at specifically the trends that are happening within your sector so you know how best to attain those candidates. Apply rates varying by device. This is really important. We talk about this time and time again. Consistently, candidates have always applied for jobs on their desktop. But there has been a shift away from desktop towards mobile, but it is sector specific. Blue collar roles, or indeed any roles where people are generally standing on their feet, are consistently more likely to be applying from their mobile device. If you're a cleaning operative, or you're working in travel, leisure and tourism, or healthcare, for example, you're a care assistant or you're a nurse, then as many as 80% of those individuals are going to be applying for a job on their mobile device. If you're a software engineer or you're working in the legal sector, That may be as low as 20% of people applying from their mobile device. You guys need to be absolutely sure that your mobile experience is optimized to attract the candidates that are relevant to you. There's a whole load of other information in the report, and again, that's available on our website free of charge. Programmatic 101, this is what we do best. Show of hands who understands exactly what programmatic recruitment advertising is. Wonderful. No one. Good news. Okay, so programmatic job advertising, we consider it to be the evolution of recruitment advertising. Programmatic job advertising is the use of data and software to make informed decisions about where to buy your media at the right time at the best possible cost. There's a whole load of talk in the marketplace now about AI. Every single product you discover at the moment is about AI and robotic engineering. You can't escape AI right now. We prefer not to use that terminology. We just call it computers and maths talking to each other and making decisions about what to do next. So this is how it works. Everybody in this room will either have access to a CRM or an applicant tracking system. We integrate with 160 of the world's leading applicant tracking systems. Many of them are in the room today. Everything from Workday to TribePad to Pinpoint and so on. We integrate with your ATS. We take an XML feed of jobs out of the ATS. We've now got all of your jobs in one place in our UI. We place a tracking pixel. It's a piece of JavaScript. We place it on the Apply Complete page of the ATS. That's the page that sits directly after the candidate has applied. Some people call it the thank you page. We take your jobs. We work with you to understand what you're trying to achieve in each individual location against each individual role type. Priority roles, roles that you really struggle with in certain locations. Jobs where you don't need any applications at all and you can just rely on Indeed's organic traffic delivery. We build those jobs into campaigns and we distribute them to all of the job boards in the market, to include Indeed, Total Jobs, Reed, CV Library, Monster, Talent.com, ZipRecruiter, Adzuna, and many, many, many others. 30,000 job boards in the US, 50 to 100 job boards in the UK, and we have global coverage. Candidates apply for your jobs and they go directly into the ATS. Only at the point when they complete the application do they become invoiceable. So it's a cost per completed apply model. You're not paying for clicks that don't convert. In the old world, there are two ways that you would advertise. One, tenure or duration-based advertising. You speak to your rep at one of the well-known job boards. They may or may not be in this room. And they would say, how many jobs do you want to advertise? I want to advertise 50 jobs this month. Okay, the rate card tells me that 50 jobs is going to be £6,000. Irrespective of the outcomes that you derive from that advertising, you have to pay the invoice in full. One application, no applications, 10 hires, you always pay the invoice. That model is not data focused and it's certainly not results focused. Indeed came to the market in 2011, phenomenally strong business. They've done a great job and they offer cost per click based advertising. Someone clicks on your job, you pay them for that click. Revolutionized the market. Everybody loves it. Everybody's got contracts with Indeed. The challenge associated with cost per click is this. If you advertise a junior level role, so an admin assistant, you might get 500 clicks. You have to pay them for those clicks. But of course, you don't need 500 clicks for an admin assistant. You need 10 clicks, 3 applications, and you make the hire. So there is wastage in that buying process. So we've moved it along and we do cost per completed apply, only invoicing you for the candidates that make it through the funnel. The software will optimize its behavior over time, the more it learns about which job boards are driving the applications. So if Reed have sent through 10 clicks and no applies, our software will look at that and say, that's not good quality traffic, and it will send proportionally less budget to Reed, and it will apportion it to the job board that is sending through the better converting traffic. You don't have to make any of these decisions. The software is doing it for us. But the question then becomes, thank you, Robin, you're invoicing me for cost per completed apply, but all of the applications you've sent through are rubbish. And I will say to you, what does rubbish mean in your world? You'll say, well, one, all the candidates are coming from overseas and we can't sponsor those candidates. Great. 50 to 60% of your traffic delivery right now might be coming from countries where you can't offer sponsorship. Great. We track IP address, and for anyone based outside the UK, it's automatically marked as organic traffic delivery, so you don't pay for it. Secondly, it might be that people are not making it through to first or second stage interview. With the integration that we have in place with the ATS, we will track those candidates all the way through the hiring funnel. And thus, the software will optimize its behavior towards the job boards that are sending through hires and interviews and offers and screens. So, if Indeed or any job board has sent through 30 applications, if there's no interviews, the software will not like that, and it will start to cut them off, and it will start to push budget towards the better performing sources of traffic. Hires are a trailing indicator of quality. There's not much we can do to influence whether or not a candidate is ultimately qualified. Some of the big banks I work with have a hiring time of 6 to 8 months. So the candidate gets lost in the process. So what we prefer to do is we prefer to look at the pre-markers, the disposition steps, like first stage, second stage, and offer. Everything after that point is out of our hands, but we still track in the data and optimize it. And we do that across 75%. That wasn't a sales pitch, Natasha, but that could or could not be relevant for other programmatic vendors. Supercharging job ad content for maximum impact. Okay, this is the stuff you can take home with you and learn exactly what you need to do to get people through the hiring funnel. A show of hands for everybody in the room who has tested their apply flow in the last 12 months. 6 people out of 100. Congratulations to the 6 of you. You are phenomenally good at your job. For the rest of you, it's the first thing you can do when you get back to your desk. These are the things you need to look at. How long does it take you to apply for a job from start to finish? From the exact point you find that job on totaljobs.com and you click on it, how long does it take you to complete the application? Get a stopwatch, test it out. Have you tested that experience on desktop and have you tested it on mobile? I guarantee the experience will be different and the timing of it will also be different. Is the candidate required to register or log in? If they're using Workday, if they're using one of the big US ATSs, I guarantee they will be needed to log in. That adds friction into the apply process that the candidate does not like. I can't find my password. I don't know how to log in. I'm going to sack it off. I'm not going to bother applying for this role. Does the candidate receive a verification email link? On the next slide, I'll show you why that's important. Is your target audience blue collar or white collar? The data we've already showed is that blue collar candidates are going to be on mobile and white collar candidates are going to be on desktop. So make sure you're checking. The impact of a broken apply flow. This was a customer we had last year. I won't tell you who they are, but they are in the public sector. And if you operate in the public sector, I can guarantee that your apply flow is worse than everybody else's. Too many questions, too many breakages in the apply flow. 28 minutes it took candidates to apply on average. As a result, the conversion rate from first click to completed apply was 0.26%. We drove 10,000 candidates through to this client's website and only 100 people applied for the roles. And it wasn't because they didn't want to do these roles, it's because they couldn't get through the ATS. And the reason why is because the apply flow was broken. Tried to log into the ATS and it said, I'm now going to send you a verification link to your email. I'm a little bit older than most in the room and therefore I use Hotmail or Outlook, as do you, Dan. And thus, I waited for the verification link. I went and sat in my Outlook and it never appeared because guess what? They weren't sending verification emails directly and it went to my spam. So I didn't complete the application. For Gmail, it went through instantaneously. So anyone on Gmail was fine. Anyone on Outlook or any other service provider, it didn't go through, but no one had tested that. As a result, there is a direct impact on the cost you pay. As apply time goes up, conversion rate goes down, and the cost you pay goes through the roof. Bear in mind that I said the average cost per application right now is £11.15 across all sectors. This was £172 just for one application. A waste of money, and more specifically, a waste of taxpayers' money. The impact of a long apply flow, this one is hideous, 48 minutes. And in one specific week, it hit 53 minutes. As a result, the conversion rate was 0.88%. Horrible, 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 to the point where I just paused the campaign and said, we're not doing this anymore. It's a waste of money. £187. Too many questions in the apply flow. There were 20 questions that the candidates needed to ask. Now, they weren't specifically trying to target these candidates, but you can make the assumption that most of these candidates were under the age of 21, and they would have been on a mobile device because it was the type of job that very young people will apply for. Did they have the time? Did they want to make the effort to spend 48 minutes applying for a job? Absolutely not. So they went somewhere else. In contrast, and this is exactly how it works, this is a large retailer based in the Northwest. They have an apply time of 6 minutes, so there is no friction in the apply flow. It's easy. Name, email address. Do you have the right to work in the UK? Do you have this level of experience? Click on the apply button, they're gone. Took them 6 minutes. The website looks fantastic. There's very little friction in the apply flow. And the conversion rate from click to apply was 9.9%. That means they're optimizing their spend. Because, of course, although we're invoicing for cost per completed apply, if they're working with a vendor that's charging them for clicks, and if you're not getting candidates through the funnel, then potentially, like the last employer, you could pay for 10,000 clicks and get no applications at all. That's really important. As a result, the cost per application they're currently paying is £3.63, primarily driven by Indeed. Indeed are doing some great stuff at the moment. Their cost per applications are very, very low across blue-collar industries. So £3.63 is perfectly achievable, maybe £1 or £2 if you get the apply flow right and we remove the friction. And this is how you do it. 1, shorten your apply flow. So as apply time surpasses 5 minutes and respectively 15 minutes, there's a major degradation of the apply rate. Moving from 1 to 5 minutes to 6 to 5 minutes decreases the apply rate by 44%. And bear in mind, this is across all sectors, across hundreds of thousands of jobs that we're currently trafficking right now. But when apply time is brought back down to 1 to 5 minutes, apply rate is nearly 3.5 times greater than those jobs with an apply flow of 15 minutes. It's very, very meaningful. Ask fewer questions. This is really tricky for a lot of companies, particularly in the public sector, where HR are influencing the decision-making process. You may well go on a test your apply flow and say, this is broken, it's terrible, and you take it to HR and they say, we need all these questions in, we're going to leave it as it is. The only way you can really have that conversation with them is by producing data and saying, this is exactly what the data tells us. Keep it as it is. If you want to ask 20 questions, we're going to waste money and we're not going to get candidates to apply for our jobs, or we're not going to get the right type of candidates applying for our jobs. So get internal stakeholder buy-in by using data. Remove questions that can be part of the later stage hiring process after they've completed the application, once you've got them on the phone and you've screened them. And stop asking for work history on the application form, because guess what? You've already included it in the CV. Why get the candidate to duplicate their effort? It will only annoy them. It will put them off working for your brand. Don't do it. Job title length impacts clicks. I find it really difficult to explain this because every other time I talked about this, it was just a downward trend. It was always saying that if you've got a job title of 1 to 3 words, that's the optimum length for a job title. Now the information I'm giving you is a little bit squiffy, because as we've told you to start adding salaries into the job description, people have started adding them into the job title. And so actually there are some scenarios further down the funnel where some jobs have got job title, then they've got salary, and then they've got location listed, and the conversion rate actually starts to go back up. But I'm going to ignore the data and I'm going to tell you, keep it short. 1 to 3 words or 4 to 7 words is the optimum length for a job title. And depending on the job board you're using, if you put too many words in the job title, it may actually confuse the algorithm, and the algorithm won't be able to position you correctly on the website. Keep it short. Ignore the data I've just presented. Think like a job seeker. Use titles job seekers actually search for. I sat down for 10 minutes and decided how many different ways we could think of positioning a customer service representative. Depending on where you are in the country, depending on what type of organization you are, you're going to look at this very differently. A quick Google search will tell you what the most popular search terms are and what candidates are most likely to search on. And we can help you with that as well. Don't be overly creative with your job titles. As Natasha has heard me say many times before, there are people still using titles like Java Jedi and sandwich artist. These job titles are not job titles that candidates are searching on. And as a result, the more relevant job title on the job board is going to be the one that gets returned first. And they're the ones that are going to get clicked on. Because the jobs that appear within the first 1 to 7 listings on the job boards take up the majority of the clicks in the applications. Keep it relevant. Optimize the length of your job description. This is clear in the data that 200 to 400 words is the optimum length for a job description. Once you go below that, or once you go above it, you're starting to get into very dangerous territory and your conversion rate will drop. Job descriptions containing 201 to 400 words achieved apply rate of 8 to 8.5%. So that's in keeping with everything that we think. And as you start to get past 1,000, the conversion rate drops all the way down to about 4%. Keep the description short and concise. Don't be too wordy. Include benefits. The more, the better. Many of you will already be doing this. I want you to be really, really overzealous and put as many benefits in as possible. If you offer stock, if you offer commission, if you offer insurance, get it in the job description, put it up the top of the advert, front and center, so it's the first thing that the candidate sees when they're looking at the job. The data holds true that as more benefits you add, the more candidates will make it through the funnel. There are many, many companies that still don't include benefits on their job description. Do competitive analysis. Do a sneaky. See what your competitors are doing and see whether you can emulate the benefits. Are you consistently losing candidates to somebody else in your area? It may be something very simple that they're offering that you guys actually offer already. You just haven't included it in the job description. Keep it in there. Adding 4 or more benefits can increase apply rate by 96%. Flexibility, remote work, work from home, flexible hours, it's the post-pandemic thing. Everybody likes to work from home now. I certainly do. Is it in the job description? Are you talking about it? If not, you need to. 2 jobs, very, very similar, both in the care sector. So it's a very, very competitive sector for care assistants and social workers right now, support workers. This job description has listed no less than 20 benefits. This job description has included no benefits at all. I haven't included the data on here, but guess which job description won out in terms of conversion and the volume of candidates making it through the hiring funnel. The results are stark. Always keep everything front and center towards the top of the job description. But are all benefits created equal? The answer is maybe. We randomly selected 100,000 job postings that were posted in 2023 from a wider sample set of 10 million job postings that we had last year. The average apply rate across all of these jobs was consistently 5.4%, so a strong apply rate. Job ads analysed accounted for $32 million of spend, so it was a small sample set. Healthcare benefits, family benefits, additional compensation, education, professional development, and paid time off. So no mention in there with regard to working from home or flexible working. We didn't consider that to be the primary benefits that people should include. So we're looking for these within the job description. Our research found that 52% of job descriptions did not include any of those benefits in any capacity at all, which is challenging, which means that either employees are not offering them or they're just forgetting to include them. Mentions of the following benefits in job adverts are associated with an overall increase in apply rate. The second one on the list was a particular surprise to me, and I don't know whether your companies are offering these, but these are them. So regular incremental bonus, where it was included, we went from a 5.4% conversion rate to a 13.9% conversion rate. That's 155% increase in conversion. Pet insurance. I am not an animal owner. I'm not an animal not lover, but I just don't own a pet. So this would never factor into my brain that we'd need to include pet insurance in the job description. But it accounted for a 37% increase in conversion rate. Health insurance, if you offer it, keep it in there. Again, 30% increase in conversion rate. And stock options, it's not available to all types of businesses, but if you include it, it's a 28% increase in conversion rate. Again, I can provide you with all the data broken down by each individual benefit, share that with you, and you can determine which ones you should include, which ones you shouldn't include. I would suggest including all of them. Glassdoor. Glassdoor are not part of our business, but they're a big friend of ours and a good partner, and you need to be on Glassdoor. Now, the reality is you can't help but be on Glassdoor because everybody's on Glassdoor. It's just how much sponsorship and how much you publish yourself and how much you respond to comments on Glassdoor. But if you have a great employer brand, you must flaunt about it. Talk about it in the marketplace. Let people know that you exist. I deal with a lot of companies in the care sector who are hiring for care assistant and support workers. It's tough work. Pay is low. And they all have varying degrees of job satisfaction. So some of them, you go into their Glassdoor rating, they've got a 4, others have got a 2. You need to be doing things with Glassdoor to ensure that you can improve that rating, speaking to people internally, understanding what their challenges are to see what you can do to get better efficiency out of those candidates. Moving from 2.5 to a rating of 3 increases apply rate by 42%. Mention any workplace awards you've won. Talk about the virtues of working for your business. That's Appcast. We've got a 5. I included that just for consistency purposes. So there's lots of data available to us, all of which you guys can access from our website. The takeaways from this is that time to apply impacts conversion rate, and that's the number one thing you need to focus on. So use programmatic to drive quality candidates, not just getting candidates to your website and not just getting candidates into the funnel to say you've done a good job. We want to focus on getting good quality candidates that can get through the hiring funnel. Leverage data to generate better hiring outcomes for your business. Test the apply flow on desktop and mobile. I know it's a pain in the bum. I know it takes time to do, but it's the number one thing I recommend. Shorten the apply flow down to 5 minutes. Keep your job descriptions down to 200 to 400 words, and adding benefits will significantly improve the conversion rate when candidates eventually make it to your website. That's it from me. I'm Robin Stander, Vice President of Appcast. We're at stand 3, right at the front of the room. We've got some lovely neon seating. Come over, have a conversation with myself, Veronica, Francesca, or Rebecca, and we'd be happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you very much.